You are making the world a better place by listening to the Joy of Living podcast. This is your guide to achieving a more purposeful, powerful, and positive life. Join Barry Shore in unlocking the best version of you and becoming happier, healthier, and wealthier. And now, here's your ambassador of joy, Barry Shore.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Remember, you're good-looking. You're always looking for and finding the good. That's why you tune in to the Joy of Living podcast with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. It's the ambassador of joy, and you are going to experience more joy today than you have in a long time, because in addition to me, which is really great, you have amazing Megan, double M we call her, Megan McCaleb, and we'll see her in just a little bit. But right now, I just want to say welcome to everybody that's here, that's listening. We have on average somewhere between 350, 360,000 people around the world who purposely tune into the Joy of Living podcast, because you know that on this show, we discuss the three fundamentals of life. And when you use those three fundamentals to your advantage, you will be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? So let's just dive right in, because I want to applaud you for two things. Number one, for being here, because you're here because you care the most in the entire world about one person, and that's great. You. Why are you? Because you know when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. So being the best you is really important. Number two, you made a decision to use your most valuable asset, your time, to tune in and learn more about how to live in joy daily, no matter the circumstances. So the three fundamentals of life. Number one is your life has purpose. And when you lead a purpose-driven life, number two happens. In this case, it's a good number two. You go MAD. Now, MAD is a wonderful acronym that stands for make a difference. You lead a purpose-driven life, you make a difference in the world. And the third fundamental is to uncover the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms. Simple example, right now, people are watching this and listening to this around the world, and it's carried over the internet. So if you ask anybody, what does www stand for? Invariably, they'll say it has to do with the internet. Now, factually speaking, they're correct. However, in our world, the world is positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, www stands for what a wonderful world. And of course, whata is a word, W-H-A-T-A. And a big tip of the hat and a big thank you to Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, for enabling that song, What a Wonderful World, to go viral and not just touch tens of millions or hundreds of millions, but billions of people around the planet. Whenever you hear the opening bars of What a Wonderful World, what do you do right away? You can't help it, just smile. Now, smile is one of the most important words you could ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life, because smile stands for seeing miracles in life every day. That's right, seeing miracles in life every day. Now, recently I was in an in-person appearance. We had 1,127 people in the audience, and I'm telling the story about Barry Shore and talking about seeing miracles in life every day, and people are raising their hands and saying, hey, Barry Shore, I've been up for hours, I haven't seen any miracles. And I asked them, are you here? Can you hear? Can you stand still? I can't do that. Can you walk? I barely do that. You have water to drink, you have food to eat, place to sleep, you have family, you have friends. Every single one of those is a miracle. What's the proof? Simple proof. 1 million people didn't get out of bed this morning. You know why? They died. By definition, if you're watching and you didn't, or you're listening, you are here. You're alive. Therefore, you have an obligation to live life to the full, to live exuberantly. Now, let me tell you a quick story. It's about me. Imagine, if you can, standing up in the morning, completely healthy and hearty, able to leap 12 buildings in a single bound. And that evening, I'm in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed from my neck down. And it was not from an automobile accident, not a spinal injury. It was a rare disease, which I never heard of the day before, took over my body and rendered me what's called a quadriplegic. Nothing in my body moved, my neck down. I could only communicate by blinking my eyes. I was 144 days in the hospital. I was in a hospital bed, my own home. I couldn't turn over by myself. I was in a wheelchair for 4 years. I had braces on both my legs, from my hips to my ankles for years, and that was progress. Thank God today I'm able to be vertical and ambulatory with the help of a 7-foot walking wand. So I am a triped, not a biped. I can't walk up a stair by myself. I can't walk up a curb by myself. And I help 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you hear my voice. Positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant, all because of one word. That's right. Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day. Well, let me tell you though, my 8-year-old niece comes over to me a few weeks ago and she says, Uncle Barry, can we spell smile? S-M-I-E-L. I thought about it. Smile, sound the same. Why not? I asked how come. She says, because then it would stand for seeing miracles in everyday life. Out of the mouth of an 8-year-old. But what was she doing? She was creating the kind of world that she wants to live in. Now, CREATE is a fabulous acronym. It stands for causing rethinking, enabling all to excel. We're going to experience some rethinking with wonderful Megan in just a few minutes. So the ability to what we do, what we call, is to shift your perspective just a little bit. And that shift in perspective will make it so that you can internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn. And they are: choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine your path in life and the trajectory. Now, before we bring on wonderful Megan, I just want to warn everybody in advance that I do use a lot of 4-letter words. I even use the 4-letter FU word. I do it because of the shock value and it's fun. Now, of course, the 4-letter words that we use, because we live in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant, are love, life, hope, free, gift, play, pray, swim. And the 4-letter FU word, of course, is fun. Fun, yes, F-U, capital N, capital N. So after the show, when you see your family and friends, have a twinkle in your eye, a smile on your face, remember what it stands for, point your finger and say, F-U, everybody. But remember to add right away, capital N, capital N. Where'd you get that? So well, I listen to Barry Shore on The Joy of Living, and he wants to teach the world to F-U, capital N, capital N. Then you'll be able to introduce them to all the wonderful things we're going to discuss with Megan and how to cause a shift in your life. Now, as I said, I've been working with people for more than 4.5 decades. And I can tell you 97.2% of all the people I start working with drop the F in shift and the other stuff happens. You got to be careful, F and careful with your Fs. So before we bring on Megan, just a couple of minutes, I want to urge everybody, use the 2 most powerful words in the English language 3 times, consciously and conscientiously, from now the rest of your life, because you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. And these 2 words are thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank stands for to harmonize and nurture kindness. To harmonize and nurture kindness. Kind is a wonderful word that stands for keep inspiring noble deeds. There's nobody, and I can think of right now, that inspires noble deeds more than amazing, wonderful double M, Megan McCaleb.
I feel like I should sing. Speaking of harmony, I'll just add some musical harmony to your singing. Joy.
Say hello to 386,722 people around the world.
Hello, massive amounts of new friends.
I told you, look, first of all, if you are watching this, and I urge you to do it, you're going to get a treat. Not because you're looking at me, because you're looking at her. She's beautiful on the inside, the outside, and whole being radiates joy, happiness, peace, and love. And if you're listening to her only, you can pick it up in her voice, because her voice is melodious and loving. She's a double M, Megan McCaleb. So let's just jump right in. And if I start telling everybody what all the things you do and what you've done, it would take the rest of the show. So I'm just going to tell everybody. And for some people, by the way, in many parts of the world, when I use this word, they won't know what I'm talking about. So I'll have to spell it out. And the word is improv.
Yes.
Improv. What is that about? Is that improve? Yeah, a little bit of that. Does that mean improvise? Well, yes. Improvisation. I think it's very American, by the way, Megan, but you'll tell me if it's more so. It's one of the greatest art forms that exists in the world of expression and communication. I wanted to say comedy but it's not always comedic.
Right.
But it does exist in the world of communication. Let's just jump right in and talk about the two words that you love to use the most when you're dealing with improv.
Oh, my favorite two words. They're short and sweet and powerful. They are yes and.
Wait a minute. Yes,
easy.
and is that it? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the core of it, because it's very simply put that yes is our tool to acknowledge and accept what is, and is our action word to help us know what can we do with it. It opens up the door to problem solving, to see what solutions are available and what to do next once we've acknowledged and accepted whatever is in our existence.
So let's take a look and take a step back and learn something about you, because you are, let's call it the queen of improv. Why not?
Okay, that's pretty generous, but I'll take it.
But why not, right?
Sure.
You're a queen of QOI, queen, and we don't need a U.
I love it.
How did you become involved in this process? What is it in your life that drove you? Because no one comes out of the womb and says, "Hi, I love to do improv."
I wish we did. It sort of feels like it was a delayed thing to realize, because technically, Barry, we're all improvising every day anyway. We just don't bring a heightened awareness around it to feel more empowered when we think we have our day all planned and whatever. So really the tools do become super helpful. And I sort of stumbled into it. My older brother had invited me to come perform with a local troupe in Boise, Idaho, where I live in the United States. And it was that they were just growing and they wanted some more performers to come and play. And he thought I would be a good fit because of my whimsical personality, and I love being on stage and collaborating with others. And I was a bank manager in corporate America by day and started learning this art form by night. And I realized really quickly how complementary performance art is to being a better performer in our everyday life.
I want to laugh out loud and say, from my perspective, you could not have told me better what you did as your daytime gig. Because if you're going to take, let's say, opposites for the moment, a bank manager is as not given to improvisation in the sense of comedic and such than anything. I mean, now, but however, one of the things that a bank manager must do is communicate.
Totally.
You have to communicate with people that work with you and for you. Communicate with customers who oftentimes are irate.
Yeah.
Oh, see, notice I hit it.
It's true. When we talk about money, that's a sensitive topic for people. And if things are not going exactly the way they wish, it can be not the most pleasant conversation from time to time.
So let's now go back and unpack a few things in your personal life. We're going to delve deeper.
Yes.
And when did this improv ability happen that you were asked by your older brother to say, okay, Megan, I know you're cool. Come on up and play with us. Was that when you were 19, 22, 24, 26?
I was in my early 20s. So yeah, I guess not to give it away too much. It was about 17 years ago. I was in my early 20s, and and it just immediately became this fun, safe space to expand. And I thought it was crazy because I did theater a little bit in junior high and high school, and I never was taught improv rules. And commonly people will have heard of improv in some capacity if they've been in performing arts. It just kind of goes hand in hand. And somehow I missed that completely with not having that exposed to me in the times that I was doing a few productions here and there. And so it was kind of wild to go, wait, there's this entire art form that exists just to be spontaneous and to build together and to show teamwork and ultimately make people laugh. It blew my mind like immediately.
So I love some of these words you just mentioned, because most of the people that are listening to us around the world, and again, I'm urging everybody to understand, when we talk about around the world, we're talking about places that are not given to what I'm going to call freedom of expression.
Mm.
Freedom of expression, use the first letters of each word, FOE, is a foe to most people living outside of the United States of America. And even in the United States of America these days, it's under attack. But let's be blunt. Freedom of expression, in my humble opinion, is somewhat unique to America in the bigger picture.
Sure.
And the ability for you to combine these things that you're talking about, spontaneity and teamwork. I love it. Again, also things that are just generally speaking not available, which is one of the reasons that people lean in and love listening to the Joy of Living podcast, because we talk about things that are what could be. So I want to mention here and ask you to speak about it more, because by the way, you don't have to write anything down that Megan McCaleb was going to talk about. Just go to my website, barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE, barryshore.com. It's in the link below. Everything about Megan is there. So just lean in and experience what we're discussing today, because it will be of benefit to you. Again, everything we deal with on this show is about you. It's you becoming the best you possible. You'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier. Who doesn't want that? Hello. So let's unpack and go back in your world. And you said, wow, I get up on stage and it's great. Now, right away, I'm going to make this statement. You talk about people getting up on stage and opening their mouth. I think that frightens 99.2% of the population. Am I not correct on that?
Yeah, it's a large amount of population who is terrified of being on stage, which is why it became so important to figure out how to show people the mechanics without putting them on the spot. Because I happen to be, performers, we love it. We're a special breed of people that want to get on stage and make fools of ourselves, and for the sake of making people laugh and feel joy and forget their cares for a few minutes. And I totally recognize, I do public speaking coaching too, and the same thing applies. Like, even when people want to share stories, there is so much fear of judgment, fear of exposing themselves. Like, once we say something out loud, we can't take it back. And it's a real thing. So, but on the flip side, seeing how it connects, like when you're at a comedy show and the audience is in it with you and they're watching the scenes unfold and the relationships between characters and they're leaning into it, you can feel the audience's energy coming at you. And then when we laugh, it's because we've made this connection of something that we relate to, and it's very powerful. So it's obvious to me, it became obvious to me then really quickly why it was so impactful to bring it more into that everyday life, because we lack connection. We don't always have the option to speak up at work, which is really sad to know that that's a reality. And it really deflates, I think, who we are as individuals if we're not allowed to expand in our individuality and share our unique ideas to find a greater result as a team. I don't know if I answered anything specific in there, but I just loved a tangent.
No, this is good. Hey, this is improv, kid.
Yes. Improv, baby.
And
yeah,
you mentioned this word team a number of times. Now, Barry Shore loves acronyms. As I told you, it's one of the 3 fundamentals of life that makes you happier and healthier and wealthier. Team, everybody thinks they know what it stands for. You don't know. Barry Shore way, of course, is together, everyone achieves miracles.
Oh, miracles better. Yeah.
Not more or not money. Together, everyone achieves miracles. I'm going to put you on the spot, which is what we like to do in improv.
Yeah.
Can you think of a situation where you were in either recently or any time in the past where you had a number of people on the stage, let's say in your improv group, and you were able to bring 1 or 2 people who were absolutely reluctant to get up on stage. They didn't want to be there at all. And yet somehow you managed to coax them in a gentle, loving way, get them on stage, and then they actually loved it.
Oh, yeah. It happens every workshop. The trick, Barry, is that I don't put them on stage per se right away. I mean, the workshops are usually in a hotel conference room or a business center or something, right? So they're not getting that same nervousness of, oh, I need to step into this spotlight and everyone's gonna be watching me. So I tee it up in a way that eases them into some very simple activities that everyone can do and that naturally get us giggling, even though they're not funny. They're just very basic activities that bring us together with this cohesive energy. And then when you start throwing in the little kind of what seems like the goofier things or a little bit more of storytelling examples, or if it is sort of like a game or a scene, they naturally fall into it. And I'm talking, I work with some very hard audiences. The ones that I work the most are the ones that have the biggest challenges, the ones that, like lawyers. I do a lot with healthcare, real estate agents. It's the people, engineers.
What we
I work a
call
lot with engineers. Yeah,
uptight.
it's people that like really see things in this very certain way. They're very smart, they're very articulate and well spoken. And sometimes that's where a disconnect can even be, because they are often just in their own world of these kind of extreme industries. Yet those are the things that really are huge life-changing industries for the consumer. So if I'm buying and selling a house, that's a big deal. If I'm in the hospital, that's a big deal. If I have a wreck and then the firefighter shows up, like it's an everyday thing for the firefighter to see the same wreck 1,000 times. And it's old trick for them, but it might be my first time ever. So taking those environments and really flipping it around to be like, we're not trying to make you be funny and wacky and crazy. We're just trying to bring you into this moment and be committed to building and supporting each other exactly where we're at in that
Building
moment.
and supporting.
Yeah.
On that note, I want to say 2 words to you. Yes, and we're going to take a brief break. We have sponsors. We love them. We vet them. We wouldn't urge you to consider using them if we didn't think they were worthy of your time and attention and money. So pay attention, and we'll be right back with Megan McCaleb right after this. Don't go away. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings. Have I got something special for you? Yes, it's going to prolong your life. You're going to thank me. This is called Prolon, Prolon. Now, let's be blunt. Everybody knows that fasting is healthy. You know that fasting also can be challenging. Hello, I'm not going to eat, but with Prolon, you're going to be able to eat and fast at the same time. Does that sound strange? Well, it is, but it's not. So get this. Prolon isn't a diet. Prolon is science based on prize winning discoveries in medicine. And it all starts with Prolon's 5-day program: snacks, soups, beverages, all designed to keep your body in a fasting state. It's unlike anything you've ever experienced. Now, I can tell you, I've been doing intermittent fasting for many years. Everybody knows fasting is good for your mental acuity, for your physical being, for your overall well-being, and reducing your blood sugars. So I want to urge everybody, I use Prolon. It's exactly what I do use, and it's convenient, and it's backed by this great science, and most importantly of all, it works. So here's what I'd like you to do. Prolon is offering the Joy of Living listeners, that's you, our dear beloved audience, 10% off their 5-day nutrition program. Go to prolonlife.com/Barry. Now it's Prolon, PROLON life.com/Barry for this special 10% offer. Go to prolonlife.com/Barry. You will thank me. You'll be sending me notes, and I urge everybody, do it. It's good for you. Go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, you're always looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. It's a human being. She's double M. She's named Megan McCaleb, and we're talking about improvisation. Now, not everybody, but most people think of improvisation, you connect it to comedy. Yeah. Improvisation is what Megan and I are discussing today, has to do with spontaneity and teamwork. These are two things that once you get involved with them will make your life happier, healthier, and wealthier. We even talk to lawyers like that, and doctors and firefighters, because the ability to move and shift just a little bit outside of what we'll call comfort zone releases enormous amounts of positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant energy. Megan, let's discuss some things about you, because I think it's important for people to understand, well, it's easy for her. She's beautiful and she's successful, and, life just is one big cherry pie. Let's talk about some stuff that you've been through. I mean, I read, and I know you have a great book, and I read about your background and such. You grew up in Boise, Idaho. Mm-hmm. You went to school, you went to high school, and part of your graduation was that you were expecting a child unexpectedly.
Yes.
That's even in America today. That's not usual for a high school person to be about to give birth and mm-hmm. to decide not to destroy that life, abort. Can you tell us about that struggle?
I can. Yeah, because I grew up very religious, and that I actually hid the pregnancy because I was so afraid of judgment and bringing shame to my family and letting people down, because I was this bright, shiny, baby of the family. And so there was a lot of shame and worry. And so I kept it to myself because I just didn't want to bother anyone. And I chose to place that child for adoption. That felt like the right option for me. It was not even something I really considered while I was going through the pregnancy. I just needed to get through each day. I needed to get through it and try to just hold on to whatever was unfolding. I really felt very spiritually connected and guided, that there was going to be resolution, even though I didn't know what it was. So the adoption choice was very last minute for me. And I learned a lot of different things about that, because I did visit a Planned Parenthood, and in the United States, that place gets a real bad rap, and a lot of different things that my personal experience was not super positive, and I didn't have a huge amount of information given to me when I was seeking help when I was in crisis. And so it was just discouraging to me that I wasn't given all of the options in their fullness of, if you have an unplanned pregnancy, there's really 3 options, whether we all like or agree with them. And it's either to keep the baby and raise it yourself, terminate the pregnancy, or choose adoption. And I really was frustrated. I didn't get support and told all of the options, and just honestly be showered with love and encouragement, because my situation was a big deal to me, even though it's run of the mill for everyone else. I mean, there's an enormous amount of unplanned pregnancies just in our country alone. I'm sure globally it's just astronomical. So it's a very difficult decision for people to make in general.
And it worked out positively.
I think as positively as it can, because I chose adoption. I got to choose the family. I looked for things that, like, while I was sitting in the hospital with this brand new full-term, healthy, thankfully very healthy baby, and then started telling my family about it, and as it unfolded. But I was sitting there with this newborn baby in my arms and a stack of kind of like scrapbook looking pages from the family services who I decided I was going to place adoption through. And I got to just look at these families and read these letters. And she was placed for adoption 5 days after she was born. It was a very quick process, and amazing to see the different dots that connected, where the stories that they told me and how it all lined up was truly a miraculous thing to experience, and to realize that that was a trial for me, and also this incredible gift that I got to be a vessel for a human life to go to a mother who could not have children of her own. It still kind of blows my mind and gives me chills when I think about it.
I'm crying because it's so powerful. My wife and I experienced what other people call infertility for more than a decade before we have one son. And so we have a sense of the difficulties when tried to adopt number of times and such. And it's not an easy process at all. It's and then you did the ultimate giving, helped, I think, form you. Is that correct? Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah. Oh man, that was a huge formative time in my own life. And a lot of what I still do in my life, I stack it against what I would want young Megan to accomplish in present day, like I feel very tethered to that season of my life and incredibly empathetic towards people in general, even if they're going through a trial that's different than what mine was. It gave me that gift at a young age to really be tender with the things I don't know that people have going on. Because I actively had to work very hard to hide an entire pregnancy. That's like no small feat.
By the way, it doesn't compute. I don't understand how one does that. So I won't go.
Yeah, there was definitely strategy there.
There's a bulging belly, and it's easy to see.
It does. Well, the year was 1999, so I had baggy clothes going for me for the style, but it was a real mind thing, and I worked full time, 2 jobs, hiding from my family, and the people I worked with didn't really notice. And just as people were starting to get curious that something might be up, then I had her, and then I just moved on with life. And anyway, that's what I wrote my book about. There's a whole thing in the award-winning autobiography that goes into those crazy details because it's crazy. And it actually happens more commonly than people would think. I thought I was this rogue one-off thing. And then I served on the board for an adoption agency for many years. And it was common that people would not tell people because it is such a heavy subject. And it's a permanent decision. It's a life-changing situation that you can be in when you are faced with that kind of a challenge. Being in an unplanned pregnancy is scary.
What's really beautiful is how you said that it helped make you, I'm using these words, empathetic.
Yeah.
We have one of our great cards that we distribute, and we give out millions and millions of Keep Smiling cards and other kinds of cards around the world. One of them reads, "Everyone you know is fighting a battle you know nothing about." That's on the front.
Oh,
and on the back, it reads, "Be kind always." Because you don't know.
We don't. It's simple, but it's hard. We need those reminders.
Yes, and Megan has 4 more children right now that she's raising.
Yeah. What can I say? I love kids. They're just fun.
Yeah. Well, the kids are for F you, Megan.
Exactly.
Capital N, capital N. So here we are in the world of improv, which is really it is the way you earn your living, make your money, touch other people, and enable people really to, as I say, get past themselves, come out of your comfort zone just enough to recognize that there's a benefit in coming out of a comfort zone. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. In fact, I want to give you a little bit of an enhancement to saying getting out of your comfort zone, because what I feel really happens is that people expand their current comfort zone. They think they're going to have to go way out of it, but the way that I teach improv is so inclusive and accessible that people can jump right in and go, oh, these are skills I already know. I already have. I just didn't know how to apply them. So when they leave the room or even midway during the workshops, I can watch their body language change. The way they stand is a little bit taller. There's a little bit of a spring in their step, a little sparkle in their eye because they're giggling like they haven't giggled for a while. It's like unleashing the child that's still inside all of us. And people feel this empowerment so quickly because it's something we can all do and in our own little way. And we're not doing it wrong, even if we're doing it different. And that's why I love it. It's so simple and so effective. And then people just feel like, oh, it wasn't that out of my comfort zone. There was nothing they couldn't do. No exercise they could not participate in because it was too hard. Everything was accessible.
So I love this idea of expansion rather than stepping out, because stepping out almost sounds like, oh my gosh, I'm in a small plane. You're going to ask me to walk on the wing of that plane as it's flying 3,000. No, we're just saying, just understand you're going to hold the joystick just like the pilot, and you're just going to be together and love it. And in that word of joy is a wonderful acronym that fits right here because it stands for Journey of You.
I love that.
Isn't that beautiful? That's what joy is. Yeah. Joy is expanding your comfort zone and recognize this is Journey of You. And again, everybody should go barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE.com, and learn more about Megan, what she does, and how she helps people work in the world of spontaneity, teamwork, and getting through things that you didn't think you could get through because you thought it was supposed to happen in a certain time and it didn't. And then you realize, wow, I'm glad that it waited this long to happen. So let's talk about that kind of, well, actually, let me ask you, because you work with people who are, let's say, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs who are working in a particular box, for want of a better term, or a circle or a triangle, but they're in a uniform position.
Yeah.
What do you do for people who are already professional speakers and coaches? Can you help them also?
Oh, yeah. That's like my whole speaker training is infused with improv insights, because a lot of the rules that we use to work in a group dynamic and to perform on stage to connect with our audience can be applied as a speaker, with our awareness still of bringing yes and energy, especially if we're talking about a difficult topic. You need to step on stage as a speaker with a collaborative mindset. So people are going to be open to hearing your perspective and consider something new and gather new information. So yeah, there's a lot of magic in the principles of improv as they can be applied to how you organize your thoughts, to have the framework of what you know you want to deliver, and the comfort of knowing, oh, a story might come up in this one audience that I don't normally say, but I just want to trust that instinct. And it really just helps people sink into themselves and deepen the trust within their own person of what they have to deliver and its unique qualities.
Let's share with people. You've given us the wonder drug to begin. always. And I'll say it like this, and it takes work. Avoid the term "but" when you're dealing with anybody, and work to replace it with yes, no matter what the subject. And so yes, and is, let's call that a foundation stone for improv. Can you give us 2 more insider tips?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. There's so many of them. The next one that's so important, though, is to suspend judgment. I'm not telling people to not judge, because we need that thinking tool to make decisions. If we suspend our judgment, though, it invites us to elevate our awareness of what types of thoughts are we having. Maybe we can uncover a bias we have, or we think we know certain things. We know what we know so far. If we suspend our judgment, then when we hear things that are different than our view, it can activate curiosity. So that's your second rule, is to suspend your judgment and use that as a way to invite yourself to ask more questions and to gather more information and refine your scope of understanding. And then another rule then would be, the third rule is to participate fully. And what I mean by that is we're taking just being present and ratcheting that up a few more levels, because if you're just present, you're a little bit passive. You're kind of watching what's going on, and you might be listening or observing. A full activation of participation means you're in it. You're putting your skin in the game, you're sharing your ideas, and you're just as intentionally bringing the other things that people are sharing into your world, so that it creates this network of experience that we're all hopefully learning and growing from along the way.
Learning and growing and learning. Let's talk about one of the great words of life is the L word. So people might think right away, Barry's going to talk about love. Yes, I do love love. Love stands for living on vibrant energy. The word I'm talking about now, though, is listen. Listen. Now, I have 3 different ways of understanding. We'll use the simple one. Listen. How does improv enable someone who is speaking to learn how to listen better?
There's 2 parts of it. So as you're preparing, if you are really trying to be seen as an expert in your field, listening comes from gathering information from other people, like asking questions or reading articles or watching YouTube videos, watching other things that are happening in that industry and recognizing what are the problems within that industry that I can solve, right? That's why we usually want to share a tool, is so we can solve someone's problem. And so the listening is really recognizing that you don't know it all. You need to keep, I know it's shocking. It's so shocking. So it's that pre-work. And then you can be listening even when you're up speaking by looking for these ways to connect, it's kind of like from comedy, we learned how to read the room. That's like a stand-up thing. Same thing applies when you are speaking for a group and recognizing who is the audience and what is the reason for being at the event. And then if you're watching body language, or I like to look for opportunities even when I'm keynoting, to where I can have a very simple activity that everyone can participate in, at least for a moment, so I can gauge where things are resonating or where I need to make some adjustments. So
well, that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Here you are, you're on stage. There are 476 people in the audience, various backgrounds, ages, let's call it from 19 to 73. And who knows what, everybody's there and they're listening intent, they're leaning in. What activity can you urge everybody to participate in that takes, let's say 60 to 70 seconds that you can make something happen?
Yeah, my favorite thing to do is doing an activity that's called yes and yeah but, and it's just as simple as everyone in the room, and I've done this in a group of a couple thousand before in a huge room, they just quickly pair up and then they each think of something that they love, that they don't say it out loud until it's time. And they just have a very short 45-second conversation with their partner that starts with, I love blank. And they share whatever the thing is, the person, the place they love to travel, the dessert, whatever the thing is that they love. And then they alternate responding with, yeah, but, and then they respond to whatever was just said. So the first conversation is, I love this thing. I love cheese. Yeah, but it's greasy. Yeah, but it's good on everything. So they get to experience what yeah, but feels like. And then we flip it really quick and the opposite person goes, same setup, I love statement. And then that time they have to say yes and add to it. Yes and add to it. And they can see in just that matter of a couple minutes or less that those two words have a dramatically different energy. And one opens up and draws us in and we want to learn more and build. The other one blocks and makes us feel like we have to put on our defense and argue and figure out who's right and wrong. And it's so simple, but that is such a universal thing. I have not yet found a age group or industry that can't resonate with how impactful just those shifts of those two words are.
Woo-wee! We love Megan, and we also love the people that sponsor this show, because you love this show, the Joy of Living podcast. So we're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back with more Megan, because she is so wonderful, isn't she? So we urge you all to listen to these sponsors, because we wouldn't have them if we didn't think they're worthy of your time and attention. Be right back after this brief message.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, you're always looking for and finding the good. We found good, an amazing double M. Her name is Megan McCaleb. That's MC, there's a little C, then a big C, A-L-E-B. But everything about Megan is available at my website, barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE. And we're talking about, yeah, but, and then shift to yes and. Remember, you got to keep that F in place, or we drop the F and shift and the other stuff happens. You don't want that. You want to keep things moving and embrace the ability to expand your comfort zone. That's what Megan has taught us so far. Okay, wonderful, Megan. Let's talk about impact. In other words, we talked about improv. Let's talk about impact. We begin with the same first three letters, IMP. So IMP usually means I am something. So I am improving. I am important. I am provisionally happy or profoundly happy. I'll use that, IMP. Let's talk about impact. I am making an impact. Is that true? Can you really help people through improv learn how to make a greater impact, not just for others, but on themselves?
Oh, yes. What a great setup. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you would already know this, Barry, that if you serve someone else, if you're in a funk, or even if you're not in a funk, if you actively go and you provide service to someone in your community or something very, very simple, it feels warm and fuzzy to us, right? We are blessed by serving others. And the same vibe exists in improv because we are looking for a way to really activate those principles I was telling you about. If we're really engaged and we're participating fully and we're suspending our judgment of others and we're bringing yes and energy to any situation, it gives them validation and feels good and moves along whatever the thing is we're working on for that day. And it has a naturally reciprocal vibe for us. When we get to lift other people up and make them look good, it brings it back to us energetically tenfold. That's the short answer. It feels so good because it keeps a high vibe, especially around things that might be challenging. And that is just a reward that keeps on flowing for everyone involved, ourselves included.
And let's be blunt, life is challenging.
Yes.
By the way, that's the good news.
Yeah, it is. It does. You know, I love yes and because it keeps me in ready position for whatever comes next. It's easy to say yes if something I like it, but the game changer, I just said, but the game changer is when you say yes as an acknowledgement when you have to face a challenge. It doesn't mean we're giving in, or you don't want to use yes in a negative way of like filling your calendar with things that you don't want to do, or, yes has some negative connotations too that I like people to release when they learn that yes is really a gift of quick acceptance and acknowledgement. And that is it. And it keeps us in that ready position for, okay, I'm ready for what's next. Here's the thing, here's the trial. What do I get to learn from it? Even when it super sucks. Like that is a thing that I can't get out of my head now. As I know yes and. So especially when something gets hard, I have to choose to activate it to move through it more productively.
So not to go too deep into this, but those of us who are in the world of self-growth, improvement and such, we recognize that in the brain, we have several different areas. The two major ones that we like to talk about, or one that we like to not talk about, but we recognize it, is something called the reptilian brain part, the amygdala little thing. And the better one, again, in terms of what you just talked about, positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant energy, is the prefrontal cortex. And we like to keep that rich, oxygenated blood energizing what we call remarkable transformations always. That's my acronym for Roberta. Remarkable. I wrote down, by the way, just now while we're talking, an acronym for your name if you'd like to hear it.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
Okay, Megan. Magically elevating, generating, awakening nobility.
Oh my word. I'm going to have to do a arts and crafts night with my kids and make a painting of that on my wall.
Yes. And by the way, one of the things we'll do is we'll do an acronym for each one of your kids' names.
Oh my gosh.
Is it a name, one of the most empowering ideas in improv and such? I remember I did it just a few times, and I must tell you, so I love being on stage. Hello.
Surprise.
and again, full disclosure, just because we love being on stage and love doing this stuff, does that mean we always are in the flow and it always works perfectly? Hello. Part of the genius is it doesn't. And then you find out and you ask your teammates, well, what could I have done better? And that's part of the good news here. But when you use somebody's name, the most empowering part I have found when I call it, hey, Megan, what do you think about Jeep? Watch your eyes go crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yummy. I love a Jeep.
Jeep. Okay, well, okay. You got you got 48 seconds. Tell us what you love about Jeep.
Oh my gosh. Jeeps are fun to drive because they are always bright, crazy colors. They are like real life transformers because you can take the top off. You can do different configurations. There's all sorts of different accessories you can put on them. My kids love to splash through huge mud puddles after the rain. Sometimes the rain happens when the roof is off, and that's also fun and hilarious. It just feels like I'm part of something bigger than myself too, because Jeep drivers give a special wave to each other as we pass each other on the road. So
yes, and one of my dearest friends in the world, Frank Bonham, my partner in a business that we did very well together, he loved Jeeps, and we used to go out to a place, Joshua Tree National Park in California, and bounce on the road. I mean, bounce. When you're in a Jeep, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes you can bounce 3, 4, 5, 6 feet off the ground and come back. Wow, let's do that again, Mom.
Exactly. Yeah, they're definitely a bouncy ride for sure.
Okay, well, that's life. As I said, life stands for living inspirationally for eternity. That's what life really is. Okay, wonderful, Megan. I'm sorry even to say these words. We're coming to a close for our time together. Yeah. I have 3 questions for you. Okay. Are you ready?
Always.
That was good. First question. Will you come back again?
Heck yes.
Ooh.
I would be honored.
Good. Okay, number 2. You have 80 seconds to answer this question.
80 seconds.
That's it, 80 seconds. Megan McCaleb, what is your most fervent desire?
Oh, I don't even think I need 80 seconds. It is to live in a way where people who enter my space know that they are loved and seen and valued for the individual they are. And in any way I possibly can use my yes and tools and gentle light on others to have them experience the joy of giving that gift to other people too. I just want more people to feel loved and seen.
She loves sharing. Share stands for spreading happiness and rejuvenating energy. That be you. Okay, third question. May I give you a hug in front of 389,721 people around the world?
Of course.
Okay, let me tell you what HUG stands for. HUG, heartfelt, unlimited giving.
I love it.
Are you ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Squeeze. I can feel it.
And you are, of course, watching the Joy of Living podcast with your humble host, Barry Shore, and amazing guest, Double M, Megan McCaleb. Everything you want to know about Megan, again, go to barryshore.com, BARRYSHORE. And the reason you're here, and you bring your friends every week, and I'm so appreciative. God willing, will be over 400,000 within the next month or so. I urge you to share this with 5 people, just 5. You want to do 50 or 100, it's up to you, but 5. That way we can touch almost 2 million people around the world with joy, happiness, peace, and love. Work on the 3 fundamentals of life. Number 1, your life has purpose. Number 2, go mad. Mad means make a difference in life. Number 3, unlock the power and the secrets of everyday words and terms, and you'll be happier, healthier, and wealthier, such as WWW. What a wonderful world. Smile. Seeing miracles in life every day, as my 8-year-old niece says, seeing miracles in everyday life. Create the kind of world you want to live in, causing rethinking. Listen to Megan, enabling all to excel. Have a little shift in your perspective. Don't drop that F and keep it in place, and learn to internalize, utilize, and leverage the 6 most important words you'll ever learn, which are choice. As she's taught us, choice, not chance, determines your destiny. Use 4-letter words. But the ones we use, of course, in the world of the positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant are love, life, hope, free, give, play, pray, swim, and share with your friends and family. F you. Capital N, capital N. So after the show, you see a family friends, point your finger, twinkling eye, smile on your face, say, F you, everybody. But add capital N, capital N. What are you talking about? I was on Joy of Living with Barry Short. He had Megan on. She's talking about improv and expanding comfort zone and being capable of saying yes. And when you do that in your life and you use the 2 most powerful words, the English language 3 times a day, consciously, conscientiously, you will be happier, healthier, and wealthy. And they are, thank you, thank you, thank you, to harmonize and network kindness. Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always. Keep inspiring noble deeds. So from Barry and Megan, we offer you this blessing. Go forth. Live exuberantly. Spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Megan, don't go away.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Joy of Living podcast. Now that's another step towards your healthier, happier, and wealthier life. Never hesitate to do good in the world, no matter what the situation. Join us for another upbeat discussion next time at barryshore.com. And be sure to leave a rating and subscribe to the show to get more conversations like this. And remember to share it with your family and friends too. See you on the next episode.